Yeah, this is gonna be interesting. Hold on, let me check something. Where is there? Oh, fuck. There you are. Let's see if you'll work this time. That explains. Well, that explains a lot. Yeah, people. System storage? No. No. Audio output. I don't know why you continue doing that. Hey, Shadow, can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep. Turns out that explains a lot. Alright, before we even get into anything, the thing you're gonna listen to is 50-something long. I could not find anything shorter that wasn't fucked up in the head, is the best way of saying it. So, yeah, you're gonna have to listen to this, and, yeah. So, this is gonna be 50 minutes. I'm sorry, I couldn't find a shorter video. Oh, this is, one shot of, what if Deku was an orc? Yes, you heard me right, orc. But this one is the Warhammer version, so that's why this one is, long as fuck. Now, Shadow doesn't know anything about Warhammer. In fact, she never even heard of it until me and Darth mentioned it. Right?
That's correct.
So she doesn't know shit about this. So this is technically like a history to her. So, I'll probably do like another Space Marine one if. But she's probably interested in the orcs, aren't you?
I think they're pretty interested to be able to do what they do.
Yeah, but this is like a history for her, so be nice. Okay, I'm gonna play it now. Well, actually, I'm gonna go through this. By the way, I have to reset it because, well, we're recording. Let's see if it doesn't, Oh! Before I even start anything or do anything stupid, shout out to, Lieutenant 09. I think I'm saying your name right? I hope so.
I'm one of the most fearsome.
Okay, there you go. Have fun, and try not to shit yourself.
Orcs are one of the most fearsome, savage, insidious, and most well-established races in the 41st millennium. They lack any empathy even toward their own race, and they exist as a genetically engineered creation of instinct and a DNA-coded sense of purpose. They are created for one task and one collective goal only: to wage unending war. The Orcs are one of the older races in the 41st millennium, along with the Eldar, being created by the Old Ones. The then Krok would later become what are now known as the race of Orcs. The Eldar were a higher form of design, with them possessing many levels of high intelligence. The Orcs are their exact opposite, working on pure genetic instinct. Orcs and greenskins in general, though, are not born from sexual reproduction, they're rather grown from spores. And all orcs are grown from these same spores and fungus, be they lowly snotlings and Gretchen or full-blown orc warriors. Once a planet becomes infected with orc fungus, either by chance or invasion, it'll likely never be free again, having to forever defend against the unrelenting green menace. This infection is often likened to something like a terminal disease. Once a world is contaminated, it will surely be a case of when, not if, it will eventually wither and die. Orcs are enemies to all throughout the galaxy, but despite their crude and instinctive-driven nature, they should never be underestimated. Defense to an orc assault can seem almost hopeless from the outset for some human worlds. With all their strength and power that they can wield, to fight the orcs is nothing other than a battle of attrition, a slow grinding down of morale and willpower. For a successful defense against any assault from the Greenskins only buoys their spirits and emboldens them further to attack again with more fury and more enthusiasm. They won't relent, they won't slow or surrender. There is no respite, there is no escape. A planet infected by the Orc menace is a doomed world. Orcs possess a powerful genetic sense of being, to fight, to conquer, and to never surrender under any circumstances. Their strategies, if you could call them that, are usually unsurprisingly simple and unashamedly direct: to overwhelm the enemy with sheer weight of numbers or absolute weapon superiority, to never show their enemies mercy, to smash and obliterate all who oppose them under an unrelenting green tide of ultra-violence. They wage war with machines that defy logic and technical understanding, and they care little for strategic gain, are seen to be just as likely to slaughter one another as they are the enemy, but most especially if an enemy is in their sights. Orcs are often reported to, for example, skewer one another with swords and other melee weapons just so as to gain a killing blow to an opponent, crush their kin with their own vehicles with little, if any, regard, and use heavy weaponry without thought to such a thing as friendly casualties. Imperial forces are often left to wonder, how does one battle an enemy that defies all logic? And their answer is usually exterminatus. The orcs, as mentioned previously, are an engineered species. They were created some 60 million years ago by the Old Ones, who also created the Eldar and seeded life across the galaxy. The orcs were created, as were the Eldar, to wage war against the Necrons, the ancient enemy of the Old Ones. And the orcs would refer to their creators as the Brain Boys. Now, while the Eldar were made to be highly intelligent with extremely powerful psychic powers so as to best counter the Necron and Catan threat, the Orcs, then Krork, however, were the antithesis of the Eldar, muscle-bound, irrationally aggressive, and rarely showing signs of advanced intelligence. They're driven by designed instinct. Orcs, you see, require war and brutality, as others might need food and water to sustain them. To an orc, war and brutal savagery is not a desire, it's a physical requirement to their identity. And this is why they often fight amongst themselves as much as they would any outside races. While they do possess advanced tech, it is maintained by a class known as Odd Boys, who, as with all other orcs, are driven more by just a gut feeling, a born knowledge, than a true awareness of what they're actually doing. Unlike the Imperium of the 41st millennium, the Odd Boys possess the instinct of skill to not only maintain, but more importantly, to actually develop technology, if you can really call it such. This skill isn't learned or researched by any conventional sense of tech development, it's instead bound into their genetics. As with all things orc, most of their skills are instinctive. The best way to really envisage this is for them to just smash things together until by some miracle it just works. A kind of deadly galactic scrap heap challenge, if you will. Orcs don't possess any random evolutionary psychic powers as humans might, and we say, evolutionary, if it's the Old Ones which have seeded life, perhaps it's by design, but nonetheless, the psychic power of the orcs is comically random, and again, being by design from their creators, the Old Ones, this bizarre psychic power allows for orcs to literally will something to be true, that if just enough of them believe it, then it will be so. For example, the classic painting their war machines a certain colour may imbue it with a power, like being more powerful with explosives or just to go faster. Just because enough orcs will believe it to be so, with the proximity of numbers of them, means it will become a reality. This enables orcs to achieve things like space travel, even controlling space hulks and bringing them into real space under orc-modified control, a terrifying thought. as well as bringing huge war machines to a battlefield. All of these things, by all rational logic, should be outside their realm of skill and possibility, and this genetic trait is also why Ork technology, whilst essentially being just a random collection of things smashed together, will become devastatingly fearsome war machines in the hands of Orks, but then would just as easily return to being useless junk in the hands of other races. It's a clever solution to the threat of your war gear falling into the hands of an enemy, and again, this is by design of the old ones. Conversely though, if Ork numbers dwindle, then it can be potentially counterproductive. Unlike other races who can wield immense power reliably, even in singular or small numbers, any number of examples would suit, from, say, Imperial Assassins to Grey Knights and Eldar Wraith Knights. The more or less of their own race will not have a bearing on their success, their strength or their functionality of their tech. Not so much with the Orks. The awareness of this Ork psychic functionality came into general understanding through the Imperium of Man's tech priests, who, through their own cultivated belief in a machine spirit that inhabits technology, and that this machine spirit serves mankind at the command of the machine god, this imbued them with a perspective and point of reference that enabled them to see the truth of how Orks were able to bring technology to the fore that should have been far out of their reach. Lastly, the Ork race's anatomy is particularly interesting. The old ones obviously wanted the Orks or Krork to be functional as a warrior race, a biological war machine. But before you have the ability to wage war, you still have to fulfill any life form's basic needs, like sustenance, food, water, the basics of life. The old ones, in their wisdom, imbued the Orks with a powerful genetic advantage here on top of their already many powerful genetic traits. For one, when it comes to food and liquid intake, the Orks can use their own growing fungus as a food source. They'll happily eat pretty much anything though when it comes to meat, and the lower Ork forms of snotlings will cultivate this fungus food. The more interesting elements of their biology though is that Orks really are something like a symbiotic animal-fungus hybrid, making them partly eukaryotic in nature. Now, fungus was historically part of the plant kingdom, but fungi lack chlorophyll, the green pigment in plants that converts light energy to chemical energy. They also have other distinct structural and physiological features, and are so classed separately from plants. Now, it has been suggested that Orks' green skin and their blood could directly contain chlorophyll, so as to allow Orks to actually photosynthesize as a plant does, and thereby provide Orks with sun energy so they can survive longer without actual food. Now, the only problem, this makes absolutely no sense for the reasons that I just mentioned. Fungi don't have chlorophyll. So if Orks grow and were cultivated as a plant-based life form, in part, this would actually be more reasonable, but they're not. They're grown from fungi. So apparently the generator Magos biologists of the Imperium should actually do some more microscopic comparisons before they reach their conclusions. However, it's also suggested that Orks in their blood and bodies may contain some sort of algae, and that this might be actually what's responsible for the coloration and then also possibly the ability to photosynthesize to a degree. This is a more reasonable concept, but as with all alien races, information is pretty scarce and speculation is abound. So this one point aside, other Ork anatomical interests are that an Ork's animal-fungal symbiosis means that they actually contain less critical organs than, say, a human, meaning Orks can afford to take wounds and damage that actually might kill a lesser creature, but it will allow them to continue functioning. Part of the reason they are so surely haphazard when in battle, almost careless, is their bodies are essentially designed to be simple, practical, and operate even when catastrophically damaged, which rings true of everything we know about their purpose and their design. They were designed to be a biological war machine and nothing more. Ork growth, though, is a strange thing, whereby Orks will grow according to, I suppose, unsurprisingly, how violent they are. They'll generally continue to grow at a varying rate dependent on how successful they are in combat, be that versus other Orks or their enemies, and then their growth will stagnate again.
Culture. Next is culture.
Orcs live across a wide and scattered number of worlds throughout the galaxy, some in a state of war, some in endless skirmishes, and some dominating worlds, ruling them as overlords, with often human slaves obeying their brutal command. The Orcs' expansion was really an accident, as best known in Orc history. Of course it was. This is why even now their settlements are often random with no real pattern, focus, or direction. The Eldar claim Orcs have become part of reality itself. Mankind, as well, scouted, probed the galaxy, all of the known galaxy, and everywhere that they explored, they found the Orc. The galaxy at this point is contaminated beyond any hopes of cleansing and salvaging it from the Orc. Because of the random and haphazard fashion by which Orcs discover, explore, and inhabit the galaxy, they have splintered into various communities, if you want to call them that. These communities are usually just a confederacy of tribes, either loosely or under a warlord. Each tribe is a random bunch of Orcs just smashed together with clans and various mechs and materials. It's a mishmash of violence and constructivity, and it's best not to overthink it. It bears no resemblance to any ordered sense of a community or a society. Orcs have known of mankind and their emperor for some time. They know that humans worship the Emperor and have seen his shrines and symbols across human society. They regard the Emperor as the god of the humans. And this is easy for Orcs to understand as they have their own gods. Even though they see humans as weak, they do respect the Emperor as a powerful war god. From the Orc point of view, the Emperor is a constant warlord to the humans. They see him everywhere in human society, and so to the Orcs, this widespread war god must surely be powerful, and therefore to be respected. Some Orcs speak of a legend where the Emperor would appear as a manifestation challenging the Orc gods to battle, but still, despite this, he's also seen to the Orcs as a confusing figure. Why he would command his human servants to take on so many pointless tasks when they could be just fighting makes no sense to the Orcs. The humans' constant failures or their stress and despair seems to underline this confusion for Orcs, hence why they often use the word "Uman" as a slang for things that are pointless, impractical, or just counterproductive. The Orcs' attitude to life is fairly simple, and therefore they cope with the realities of the universe far better than many other races. With no overarching goals and day-to-day concerns being really only whether to build or fight or eat, it's quite a stress-free life. Especially when you have no fear of your own mortality, from an Orc's point of view. Generally speaking, they don't try to influence their own destiny, they don't try to apportion blame, unless it's some stupid Gretchen looking to get his head bashed in. Their hatred is spread equal among their enemies and their allies, and if they fail, they feel no guilt, try again in a different way. Unlike humanity, Chaos has little to any fear or effect with Orcs. Their minds are hardwired to their simple day-to-day activities, so dreams of power and turning against each other for some cause is not something that's likely to spread very insidiously through a tribe of Orcs. They're probably too busy already killing each other over some far more trivial matter. And because of their simple and objectively speaking stress-free lifestyle, it leaves little psychic stress by which Chaos can actually invade them. Also, even though some races may look upon the Orcs as evil, either due to their near mindless savagery or their endless conquest of worlds, this is actually a pretty ignorant perspective. Lumping Orcs in alongside dark forces like Chaos or Dark Elder is really a disservice to the Orcs because they exist by design, and they have become simply very effective at existing. They follow their instincts, and these are hard-coded into their very being. Evil? I don't think so. But brutally savage, definitely. It's also often mistaken that perhaps if one were to see Chaos and Orc fighting on the same battlefield, that they are somehow an alliance. In reality, it's probably more simply that the Orcs just see them as other fighters on the field, who they'll probably turn to deal with in short order once the nearer enemy to them has been battered into submission. And when it comes to trade, Orcs strangely do have this as part of their culture, and they use their teeth. Literally their teeth. It's actually a comically natural solution to economic inflation because Orcs go through their teeth similarly to something like a shark. They replace and regrow them frequently. Orc teeth also degrade over time, so it's impossible to stockpile them. This keeps prices in Orc trading constant and ensures that all Orcs have access to regular currency and commodities. And besides, if you're running short on teeth, it's no problem, you can just go smash some other Orc's face in and get yourself some more. Orc language is deemed as being low Gothic, and orcs are able to communicate with others, but at a very basic level. Orc script, though, is very different altogether, and it's actually written in glyphs. The core of this is simple clan indicators, and these are then adapted using phonetic symbols which can form some of the key orc words. It's pretty simple though, because it's just generally not needed by the orc race. They function by design, not structure or organisation. They have no need to keep records, log data, or any other useful societal function for writing and literature. These aren't important for orcs. The orc way is one of mere anarchy. They're ruled by traditions and understandings much more than laws and governing. And it's pretty simple. Orc society is about conflict. Strong orcs will rise up, weak ones will work or are killed, and they in turn benefit from the leadership of the stronger orcs. If an orc tribe is beaten by a stronger one, the survivors gain the leadership of a better tribe, making them stronger. And there's no rules about a tribe's size, location or purpose. It's just the rough grouping of orcs in a given area at a given time. And each is led by a warlord whose authority is pretty loose, giving just maybe enough rule to prevent all the orcs from turning on each other. A tribe could be a few hundred strong, a few million. The literal numbers are not important. Large tribes are usually split into smaller groups of warbands which are ruled by war bosses. And these warbands are usually a few hundred strong, creating smaller forces ready to battle wherever it's necessary, or whenever they feel like it. While orcs will belong to a tribe, they also will belong to a clan. Now, a tribe may break apart into parts or form new ones, but clans are enduring and remain a reasonable constant from an orc point of view. Some of the most noted orc clans are as follows. Now, the Bad Moons, these are some of the most wealthy orcs. They're essentially what could be regarded as the merchant caste in orc society. The Blood Axes were the first orc clan to encounter the Imperium of Man, and they adopted human tactics of camouflage, albeit slightly bright camouflage. And usually for orcs they'll sometimes actually retreat, having picked this up also from humans, but they'll usually return, and in greater numbers. This clan will sometimes even trade with humans, even having been known to work as mercenaries for them, which sounds crazy, but may be uncomfortably necessary. The Death Skulls are essentially looters and scavengers. They appropriate battlefield loot to make themselves stronger, including Imperial war gear. The Evil Sons are orcs who are committed to speed, and whatever makes them go fast should be as loud as possible. They also love flying vehicles like fighters, fighter bombers, and they usually seem to wear at least some red material, because as all orcs do know, red ones go faster. The Goths are simply tough orcs. They're the biggest, the most brutal. They thrive on battle more so than others, and they're driven by the blood fury of close quarter battle. Snakebites worship ancient traditions over advanced tech. They protect themselves with war paint, and may even choose to remain as feral orcs instead of developing their skills with mechs and guns. Finally, the freebooters. These are the pirates. These orcs are notorious thieves, preying upon anything or anyone that they find. They'll kill anybody they see, they'll seize upon, haul their booty back to their hidden bases. So now we go to orc religion. Whether intentional or not, the old ones ended up imbuing the orc with a religious sensibility. They worship their two gods, Gork and Mork. One is brutal and cunning, and the other is cunning and brutal. The orc gods are the centre of orc energy. They drive and power their whole culture. The best idea we have of how the orcs perceive their gods is in their mechs. These are the physical manifestation of their orc gods and drive their followers into stupefying frenzies of violence and bloodlust. They're also seen in armoured battle suits Gorkanaut and Morknaut. These armoured suits are seen as idols, and the orcs piloting these suits gripped with visions of their gods, urging them to fight on harder, faster, more brutally, and inevitably to meet their demise on the battlefield. While orcs often talk of Gork and Mork as separate entities, it's even possible they are one, perhaps with two sides, or provide different visions to different orcs. Still, it doesn't stop the orcs from often favouring one or the other, being known as either Gorkers or Morkers. One figure in the Imperium knows more of Gork and Mork than most others. He is Vulcan, the Primarch of the Salamanders. He is what's known as a perpetual in the 40k universe. Essentially, he's an immortal. He can regenerate from almost any injury, even something like being vaporized. Vulcan disappeared after the Horus Heresy, but he would appear some 1500 years later on the Imperial world of Caldera to aid in defending it against a massive orc invasion. Now, though he died many times over, he would regenerate and appear again on the front lines. The Imperial Inquisition requested he lead a mission to destroy the Ork Warboss known as the Beast, but Vulcan refused until Caldera was saved. With the aid of Imperial forces, Vulcan saved Caldera from destruction and would return to Terra, gathering Imperial force to Ullanor, to the homeworld of the Beast. Vulcan would lead the final charge into the Beast's massive temple Gargant, confronting the Warboss there. During a powerful struggle, the Primarch and the Warboss would fall into the Gargant's power generator, and Vulcan created a detonation in the generator so powerful it killed not only the Beast, but a massive chain reaction, shattering the temple Gargant and obliterating them. Vulcan presumed dead by the Imperium, but the Salamander Space Marines still hunt for him, believing him indestructible, and that he will return to them. And the point of this story was what Vulcan would witness in the heart of the Ork Gargant when exposed to its powerful generator. He witnessed the raw energy that was the culmination of all the Orks' Waaagh, and he would witness the origins of the Orks and their gods Gork and Mork battling one another at the beginning of time. This powerful vision allowed Vulcan to understand the true nature of the Orks, how they are a race of evolution through experimental anarchy.
What this says: I am the hand of Goth and Mork. They sent me to rose upon the boys to crush and kill cause as the boys forgaze no or desire. Orc language is fucking weird. I was one of the boys till the god would smash me into end. Ain't I buried. Sheesh. The corks, I hope I'm saying that right, is meant to conquer and make war boys for everything they don't kill. Okay. Gotta give them credit. They know how to make
the Orks have been an ever-existing threat to the Imperium man, but towards the end of the 41st millennium, there's been seen an explosion in Ork Waaagh. Now, the Ork Dominion, or Empire, marks the regions in the galaxy currently controlled by the Xenos. Some planets are now completely controlled by the Ork race, where others are in an unending state of brutal, nightmarish, and near-hopeless war. Orks have been heard to keep under control some of the local populace, creating a prison workforce who are kept in unbearable, exhausting and dangerous conditions, abiding by their uncaring savage slave masters. Most of these prisoners will be unlikely to ever know any other life than being subject now to the Orks' brutal will. The Orks will at any time also control random isolated worlds, as well as rampaging hordes that sweep through the galaxy, battling all that they encounter. They also have been found inhabiting ancient space hulks. Now, as an aside, a space hulk is simply a term given by the Imperium of Man to any ancient wrecks of space vessels. These hulks are no mere freighters or even warships, but giant ancient vessels, possibly from the early exploration of mankind or even lost in the Age of Strife. They can be so massive as to even maintain their own gravity, or in rare cases atmosphere. The hulks can often appear and disappear, transitioning between the warp and normal space. This makes exploring them extremely dangerous. As well as Orks, they often can host other dangers like the vile Xenos Tyranids, who have been found often using these hulks as breeding grounds for their gene stealers. Even Chaos Space Marines can sometimes be found there, either searching for ancient tech or preparing to launch hidden attacks against the Imperium. While there is great potential reward in searching a space hulk, there is also immense danger, coupled with the ambient danger of the own hulk's instability. As such, searching these vessels is left to the elite warriors of the Imperium and the Space Marines, the Space Marine Terminators. They are some of the most heavily armoured units within a Space Marine chapter, and their ancient Terminator armour enables them to carry out the extremely dangerous task of searching the hulks. Now, humans have explored extensively in the 41st millennium, and they have found Orks to inhabit every corner of the galaxy, and this seems unlikely to change now or in the future. The Orks are not a race of reason or diplomacy, or even needs. They exist as a genetically engineered creation of instinct and a DNA-coded sense of being. They spread across the galaxy more like a plague than conquerors. This plague of war is often referred to as the Waaagh. Orc conflicts usually will remain localized to their own planets, or objectively speaking, small raids to worlds inhabited by other races or other orc or pirate-like raids on passing ships. Again, as with most things that orcs do, there's usually not a grand plan here, so don't overthink it. A Waaagh, though, is a different happening altogether. When numbers of orcs reach a critical mass, they feel a need to migrate to form a crusade of apocalyptic aggression that will sweep through a region, destroying anything in its path. Numbers of orcs are beyond estimation, then they'll swarm through a segmentum of space, exterminating everything in their path. You could liken this to a locust plague or a viral pandemic, until it eventually burns itself out. A Waaagh also refers to a psychic field that affects orc psyche. This is, again, as with all things orc, an instinctive state, enabling them to make simple observations of understanding. This applies to everything from designation of seniority, which again, don't overthink that, it's usually more akin to who is just bigger and therefore more right. All orcs generate this dull psychic field by default. It binds them together and helps their ramshackle culture function. The more orcs that are present, the stronger this shared psychic field becomes, and this is amplified through sheer numbers, or, if they say, are enjoying a really good bit of battle and smashing their enemies' faces in. The Waaagh helps drive them, and you could think of it as being akin to momentum, where past a point it's just going to increase. A Waaagh can begin on a small scale, sometimes as a small individual who may have some vision of great carnage and feel inspired to share with others by smashing their heads in until they get it. Or if he's imbued with a sense of tech skill, maybe he's going to create some giant gargant war machine that gets the blood and hype of his fellow orcs running high. The rumours of war and coming carnage spread like wildfire to the orcs, only exacerbating this sense of Waaagh. An orc warboss, who is simply a big powerful orc in command of his tribe, will usually rise to their aspired position through just basically beating the hell out of all around them, until fellow orcs just get it that he's the biggest and the strongest. His decisions will be enforced by a ruling caste of orcs known as knobs, and these are again a bigger than normal orc, who will surely remind those below them of the fact at every opportunity with some casual violence. A warboss in a time of Waaagh will assert himself through unsurprisingly more savage, senseless violence towards his fellow orcs. When a warboss has created enough blunt trauma to be recognised as a powerful boss, he'll then be deemed an orc warlord. As his status spreads, more and more clans will come under his control, growing an unrelenting green mass of aggression. The mechs and brain boys will build ever more outlandish creations, absurd in their brutality and genius in their creativity. Vicious war machines belching smoke and oil, poisonous vapours, acrid smoke, mobile fortresses, titanic war engines created from basically random scrap metal and abandoned, twisted, now cannibalised war engines. As the Warboss grows ever stronger toward becoming the warlord, he'll subsume his challenger's armies, with many of the orcs now seeking the sense of Waaagh with a bloodthirsty insanity. Mech boys raise towers of Waaagh, and gargants will start to be seen. Gargants are the equivalent of Imperial Titans, and so represent a world-ending level of firepower. These gargants are idols, or seen as avatars to the orc race, as manifestations of their gods Ghazghkull and Mork. They are merciless weapon assemblies of sheer destruction. Gargants form no standard pattern of design, as does barely anything in the orc way of creation. They are instead a random collection of parts and combinations of cannibalized war machines. And this excitable and chaotic nature of these builds makes their weapon systems unreliable. Their whole design is haphazard and probably about as dangerous to the crew as to their targets on their battlefield. A clear difference between most orc war machinery and other races in the galaxy is they don't utilize guidance systems commonly. They also carry large crews of orc and the lower, smaller race of Gretchen. And they operate these war machines as a team, passing down orders as you might imagine a steamship of, say, the 19th century, calling down orders to the engine room and so on. Gretchens are significantly physically smaller than orcs, and so they're used to repair systems on the go by crawling into tight spaces. Gargants are usually weaker in terms of armour compared to Imperial Titans and relatively shorter range of weaponry. However, they're still difficult to destroy because of the compacted, dense nature of their construction. There is one rarer variety above a normal Gargant known aptly as a Mega Gargant. And this is essentially a mobile fortress running on tracks. Imperial tales tell of orcs laying siege to cities, spending even as long as 18 months to construct these colossal machines of war. Returning to the apocalyptic Waaagh, the continual swelling of orc mobs starts to reach a critical mass. Ships and transport vessels are smashed together, and the orc armies reach a point of no return. This wave of violence now comes crashing down as the orc armies overflow with bloodlust, descending into battles that consume entire worlds. The Gargant idols further trigger the instinctive drives of the orc clans and tribes who will do anything to outdo each other's destructive capabilities. At some point, this wave of fury and raging violence reaches its boiling point, and the orcs begin to gather their great Waaagh army. The ground shaking under the weight of tracked vehicles and striding walkers, the skies turn black from flyers, belching out blackened exhausts, and their ragged banners of brutality raising high atop these rusting, illogical contraptions of war. Orc wargs are very decentralized and have very little true coherency, even with a powerful warboss or warlord overseeing things. Various fragmented factions will exist in a warg, cults of speed for example, whose principle is to go fast. Essentially speed freaks who love the thunderous roar of an engine, and if they can shoot some guns at the same time, all the better. Probably driving over and crushing some of their own kind in the process. Storm Boys are elite shock troops who strap huge rockets on their back to make sure they're first into battle, charging with no thought much to the consequences. This is actually frowned upon by many orcs as they prefer to charge in under their own feet to get physically into the battle. Still, seeing a Storm Boy's volatile rocket pack malfunction go spinning off into an exploding disaster, certainly killing the pilot in the process, is great entertainment for the comrades on the ground. And then of course you've got the Mad Boys. These are orcs overwhelmed by the psychic energy of Waaagh. And they also can occur when clans of orcs inhabit a planet and have to develop their own technology over generations of spawned orcs. Either way, Mad Boys don't coexist well with their kin. They're essentially best described as feral, which is saying something by orc standards. These feral, crazed orcs are also known as nutters, and they're grouped together into squads who will either be a secret tool to success when unleashed on the enemy, or a hindrance when they accidentally slaughter any fellow orcs they happen upon. Once combat begins, Mad Boys can still be some of the most savage fighters to an orc foe, or fellow orc alike, ripping them to pieces. Still, they're just as likely to sit in a whimpering huddle, unable to move, overwhelmed by psychic confusion. No orc can tell exactly how they're going to behave, and making them an unpredictable and extremely dangerous force to bring onto the battlefield. Along with their crudely smashed together spaceships and space hulk infestations, orcs have even been reported to convert asteroids into massive space fortresses known as the uncreatively titled rocks. The orc species is one of the most adept at making the best of their surrounding materials, and this is the genius and danger of their design. The old ones created the orcs with only two things in mind: making them deadly and to make them near impossible to exterminate. Orcs are a plague upon the galaxy to be sure, but not because of their skill in battle or because they spread insidious ideologies, but simply because they're so difficult to truly eradicate. Humanity, for all of its technology and experience, often must resort to planetary exterminatus to be truly sure of destroying an orc infestation. Orcs defeat their enemies by either overwhelming them or wearing them down to a point of collapse through continuous losses in personnel and materials, simply by attrition. Orcs operate from a sheer antithesis of ordinary warfare. Usually any force will seek out decisive victories, utilising minimal resources and seeking to limit casualties. Orcs, on the other hand, seek no limitation in casualties or resource management. They have no control over this, but to burn as hard and as fast as possible. And even when defeated, they will return to grind down whatever crumbling defences remain of their enemy.
The warlords. Okay, now we get to talk about the big boys.
Now there are many individual stories and tales of orc warlords and bosses, as there are within the Imperium and its various leaders, captains and general history. In orc culture and history, you can't speak of the orcs without mentioning the warlord, Ghazghkull, Waaagh or Thraka. He's an orc warlord of the Goth clan and is an immense symbol of everything orc. Now, despite orcs being generally an anonymous mass of anarchy, he stands out as a powerful leader. He's commanded multiple campaigns and crushed most, if not all, in his sights, be they Imperial, Eldar or Chaos, smashed the metal skulls of the Necron into brittle scrap. He has influence above that of any ordinary Orc warlord and is often described as a prophet of their gods. He travels the galaxy subjugating, slaughtering and burning the enemies of the Orc. His vision is to wage a Waaagh so immense as to summon the Orc gods out of the immaterium and into the physical realm, and he extends their will. But his beginnings were nothing of note, just another Orc bashing in other Orcs' brains to climb up the ranks, and originating on a planet known as Urk, originally Heracles, founded by humans during the Dark Age of technology. Humanity prospered here, rich in mineral wealth, and with easy warp tides flowing for space travel, it was an excellent trade hub. Lights and noise attract attention. Resources make good mechs, and the Orcs would become aware. Attacking with a voracious assault, the Orcs would raze the planet before riding back into the warp tides. As with nearly all Orc assaults, the departure is not as clean as it appears to be. They'd leave behind fungal spores, and the Orcs would return in time. Other species would periodically form outposts on the planet. Sometimes the Orcs would rise up, other times not. Sometimes they'd be destroyed, sometimes not. It wouldn't be until the Great Crusade of mankind, though, that any humans would return here in numbers. The Dark Angel Space Marine Legion would lay claim to the world, and for 2,000 years humanity would build, mine, and establish a functioning order on the reinstated world of Heracles. That wasn't until around the 32nd millennium when a great Orc Waaagh swept through the system. Humans were overwhelmed again and evacuated, fleeing into the warp. But its tides destabilized, and Heracles would be cut off and not easily reached by outside influence again for about 8,000 years. The Orc tribes, however, remained, battling one another and fighting over the human ruins that remained. A state of genuine attrition was reached, with various warbands fighting over ever-diminishing resources, none of them able to unite under a single leader. Then came Ghazghkull. One thing the Imperium had learned about the Orcs, though, was that their Waaghs could be quashed if detected early enough. The Imperium would begin to deploy observation posts so as to best detect and monitor Orc numbers and activity. And the Dark Angels monitored this, as well as they routinely monitored human populations for potential recruiting planets. After the warp tides had calmed, the Dark Angels were able to establish one such outpost on Urk, so as to monitor this well-occupied Orc planet. The Orcs, however, desperate for any loot and resources, managed to discover this observation post, and it was quickly overrun. At this time, Ghazghkull was just a Goth's trooper in a warband, and during the frenzy to claim the base, he would be shot in the head by a bolter shell, a devastating injury that would shatter his skull and pulp a section of his brain. Staggering back to his feet with immense toughness, he drew the respect of Orcs around him, especially Goths. Despite being a physical wreck, staggering and stumbling, his blood and brains spilling out into his own hands, they eventually found their way to a dock, who would perform what I guess Orcs deemed to be an operation. As is often the way with Orcs, this was less a repair and more an improvement, an augmentation, and probably a bit of an experiment. Ghazghkull found that his skull and brain were now strengthened with bionics, squig sinew and adamantium plating. These physical alterations were great, to be sure, but nothing compared to the vision he would see awakening from this augmentation. He would see a vision from Gork and Mork themselves to lead Orcs on the greatest, most destructive and carnage-reaping Waaagh that there had ever been. It was his sole core belief that he had been in direct contact with his gods, and that he was the chosen leader and the executor of their commands. That, or his brain got pulped by a bolt gun round through the skull. Either way, his purpose was clear and his resolve strengthened, and as is often the way in Orc culture, the whys and wherefores are not really relevant. It's the actions that count, and Ghazghkull's actions would be notable. Orc warlords began to fall immediately under his crushing will. The Death Skull's warlord Dregmek, with Ghazghkull barely minutes out of his surgery, the Death Skull's warlord would attack, unleashing a bullet storm that left Ghazghkull untouched. By perhaps godly intervention, Dregmek could not believe his eyes as Ghazghkull would stride forward, beating him into a bloody pulp, headbutting and smashing him to pieces as his mobs looked on. Some getting carried away in the violence and even cheering Ghazghkull on, Roaring from his victory, Ghazghkull declared himself the prophet of Gork and Mork, and that this was his mere beginning. The word of Ghazghkull's brutality and power spread fast, and orcs flocked to join a band with a sense of purpose and direction, to be something more than the pitiful squabbling and clamouring for scraps that they'd become. The tales of a new boss touched by the gods with a vision for war was very appealing. His further battles with the evil sons and bad moons would be no less aggressive, but required more tactical sense, using burning fuels to shield his troops' approach or outwitting warlords through their sense of pride for their disposition. He was placed as an inevitable leader. His subjugation of other warlords continued until he stood poised to do something no other orc warlord had done in 8,000 years: unite the tribes on the planet of Urk. His domination of the planet was unquestioned, but the Ghazghkull had set his sights far beyond bringing together the orcs inhabiting his world. His words drove the orcs to their purpose, the Waaagh beginning to form. Their energy attracting others, void ships began to arrive. For the first time in centuries, mechs worked together, building machines they never could have imagined previously. But now, with the energy and the power of the Waaagh, it all just worked. It was a miracle. The orc energies flowed as they riveted together giant battle fortresses and mechs. Everything that occurred was the will of Gork and Mork, and Ghazghkull would declare every passing day, every achievement, every new ship arriving proved their quest was divine. Some of the orcs were wondering how they were going to get so many of the orcs off the planet. They didn't have very many flyers and no large ships to transport and begin their Waaagh. Ghazghkull quickly silenced them. A solution would present itself. It was the will of Gork and Mork. Days later, the ever unpredictable tides of the Immaterium would shift again, and that rarest of occurrences would happen. A gigantic ancient space hulk would emerge from the warp. Ghazghkull ordered tractor cannons and harpoon rockets on the few spacecraft that they had to secure the hulk. They couldn't guess as to how long before the warp would swallow the ancient ship, even with them holding it in place, and they needed to work fast. The orcs rushed to assist in mech construction. They crafted as many transports and war machines as possible. Once they deemed enough was enough, they crammed as many orcs into every possible space and set off. This great exodus from their backwater planet filled the skies, not without many mid-air collisions and engine failures as well, to be sure. Crashing into the Space Hulk's outer hull, some managed to make their way inside, some straight on ploughed into the vessel, and those with more sense sought out landing positions. The orcs soon discovered that they weren't alone on the Space Hulk, with wave after wave of demons spilling out of its corridors. Battling through the horrors, Ghazghkull and his band fought through to the centre of the Hulk, where they found, merged and jumbled by the warp, was the ship, the Dominion. This was the vessel the humans had attempted to flee from the planet on some several thousand years ago, and seemingly it had been swallowed by the warp, its human occupants devoured by the demons as they lay trapped in their vessel. The void rift that was spilling demons had to be closed, but Ghazghkull, after ordering his orcs to fire everything they had, was furious to discover it had no effect. His own weapon, even his own power claw, eventually with a massive headbutt and a flash of green light, that did the job, closing the demonic portal. It seems likely his latent psychic energy was what effected this in closing, but for all the orcs observing, it was only further imbued their belief that this warlord was a force like no other. Ghazghkull now named his conquered space hulk, the orc warship, World Killer. The ship would drift on for an undetermined period of time, in which the orcs would explore, loot, and generally rip off whatever they could find on board, cannibalising the ship and using its materials to craft ever more powerful mechs and weapons. They appropriated everything they could lay their hands on and built everything they could lend their hands to. The best scrap would often lead to infighting and rivalry, all a positive thing for the orcs to keep their tensions and blood up. It would not be a quiet period though. Travelling through the warp in such an unsecure vessel is dangerous, and many times they'd be assaulted by further demonic incursions. And these assaults only further heightened the orcs' Waaagh until the entire space hulk was seething with orc energies. The space hulk jolted and huge tremors swept across the ship. The World Killer had shifted back into real space. Imperial records date the emergence of the Space Hulk in the year 941 M41. They were headed for the core planet of the star system, an imperial world aptly named Armageddon. An industrial hive planet where thousands of years of extensive industry had left it a barren wasteland with a totally collapsed ecosystem. Humans only survived in the concentrated hive cities that stood kilometers tall, and also in the imperial military facilities stationed there. Food needed to be imported off-world, and no life existed outside of the hives. It contained multiple vast manufactorums vital to munition supplies for the Astra Militarium. But with one of the most savage and relentless Waaghs ever seen headed straight for them, it seemed like nothing was going to be able to stop World Killer and its crew. The ship would head straight for the planet without stopping. The plan? There wasn't a plan. They would crash straight into the planet. Ghazghkull was literally on a collision course with his destiny. Caught off guard, nearby Imperial fleets and the planet's defences did what they could to slow the assault, but this only chipped away at the massive space hulk that approached. Taking minimal effective damage, it ploughed straight into the planet's polluted atmosphere, crashing with obvious devastation onto its surface. Even though many thousands of orcs would be turned to ashes on impact, this was but a tiny percentage of their total force. To the survivors, Ghazghkull seized this opportunity. "It is the will of Gorka Mork that we survive," he would proclaim. The orcs, now twice as pumped up, having survived their world-ending crash into the planet, would be a force none would wish to reckon with, and Ghazghkull quickly divided his massive army into 5 hordes, with leaders that he'd subdued and recruited to his cause back on Earth. They now stepped forth, millions of orc, but one voice. The human defenders weren't prepared for this. They had many forces, war gear and munitions, but the sheer scale of the violence and ferocity they were met with was of nothing they'd dreamt of in their worst nightmares, which in the 41st millennium is certainly saying something. This was not an ordinary orc Waaagh, this was Ghazghkull Thraka's Waaagh. The orcs showed expectedly no mercy at any instance, and they defeated the humans on the wastelands with their speeders and battle wagons, ruined enemy supply lines and cut down anything that moved. And they quickly turned their attention to structures that they had never seen before. These hive cities, taller than mountains, industry and engineering on an imperial scale. The mechs stood in awe. So much scrap, they would have murmured. At the first hive they encountered, despite the Imperium putting up a formidable defence at Hive Volcanus, heavily fortified, this would take all of Ghazghkull's cunning. He had his gargants, but he wanted to take this city with orcs on the ground, scorching, burning and reaping through the trenches. The orcs would smash, crush and break this city. Using his visionary choices of units, Ghazghkull crushed the human defences quickly, and on breaking the gates, unleashing a wave of infantry. His will was executed perfectly, a tall order for an orc Waaagh. Desperate humans resorted to guerrilla warfare, but despite much heroism, the orcs swept through like a plague, slaughtering and enslaving its occupants. Its manufactorums were quickly converted to orc workshops. Human slaves turned to stripping their own city for every scrap of resource that could be used to fashion more orc mechs. Now on the planet of Armageddon, one human stood out from the general perception of the orcs as a weak and puny race, Commissar Sebastian Yarrick. He drew unusual respect from the orcs, not least because he wore goth colours of the black and red, but also sporting an augmented power claw and bionic eye. This was a human the orcs could get on board with. Even more so when they learned from enslaved humans that they often feared Yarrick as much as they feared their other enemies. Yarrick known for shooting disobeying soldiers out of hand. Orcs upon seeing him in battle though were often disappointed to see he wasn't quite as big as they'd imagined. He was only a human-sized figure. Oh well, he was an uncompromising warrior nonetheless. Yarrick was the man credited with withstanding the orc assault on Hive Hades for a significant period of time. This assault brought the Armageddon War to a new level of brutality. The orcs had already sacked 2 Hive cities, and Hades stood next in line. The Imperium, in desperation, would launch virus bombs, devices not used since the time of heresy, against the orcs, and even though hundreds of thousands of orcs would perish, it wasn't enough. Ghazghkull wanted Hades, and he would direct the assault himself. He tried everything he could think of, growing ever more frustrated all the time, but all his traditional assaults would fail time and time again. Eventually he summoned his weird boys to use their Waaagh consumed minds to blast a psychic storm at the Hive. Consumed by madness, the human defenders fell apart, but still the humans couldn't be defeated. The orc flyers were ripped apart by anti-aircraft fire, tunnel fighters cut their orcs trying to advance underground to pieces, and human suicide assault squads took down the immense orc gargants. All this would be Commissar Yarrick's doing. Ghazghkull by now had become fixated and obsessed with bringing down Hive Hades, his vision and judgment clouded by the frustration and needing to bring it down. While still battling this bitter assault, he would direct an orc horde to assault another Hive city, Aquaron, perhaps in the hope to divert resources away or gain a victory and rally his troops to greater energy. But then, the worst possible development for the orcs. Orbital bombs rained from the sky as roaring Space Marine Thunderhawks would sweep down into the planet. The Blood Angels, Ultramarines and Salamanders. The Emperor's chosen warriors were here to defend Armageddon. Ghazghkull was still so blinded by fury in his efforts to defeat Yarrick and Hades, he was unable to think with clarity enough to counter the arriving Space Marines. He would throw everything he had to take down his obsession, breaking in the blast doors of Hades in a final rampage. The Space Marines would be too late to save Hive Hades, its citizens massacred. With Ghazghkull's numbers now both severely depleted and loosely scattered across the planet, he consolidated his last reinforcements to a new hive, Tartarus. The planet stood at a crossroads, even with the arrival of the Space Marines. They would deploy even as the orcs began their assault with mechs, stompers, and even Gorkanauts. The battle though was not in the orcs' favour, but then Ghazghkull himself arrived. The orcs could taste things were turning for them, but then just as quickly as he arrived, he'd gone. Chatter spread quickly through the orcs that the Warboss had fallen. They began to waver to break, and the Imperium crushed the remaining orcs, driving them from Armageddon. But the orcs thinking Ghazghkull had fallen in battle was not so. Ghazghkull was not slain, but he did disappear from the battlefield. Rumours spread that the hand of Gork had plucked him from the battlefield, and his detractors would say fled, usually to be met with a swift headbutt from a nearby orc putting them in their place. However, it did happen. Ghazghkull had escaped. After Armageddon, Ghazghkull did not rest. As with most orcs, defeat is not really a thing, it's just a stumble, a setback, the chance to have another go. This was the beginning for him in his larger journey, a plan of Gork and Mork. Yarrick recommended the Imperium hunt down this brutal warboss and eliminate him once and for all, but the Imperium assumed him dead or defeated and didn't want to spend the resources or time to locate an orc they were sure that was the last they'd see of. This was a grave error of judgment, as is often the case with most things in the Imperium. To the Imperium's mind, his Waaagh had failed, and therefore, even if he did survive, orcs would not look upon him for leadership with his energy deflated. After losing a battle, while orcs will happily try again, they'll often topple their leader, as is their natural order of things. But not so with Ghazghkull. While he may have had to defeat several challengers in brutal fashion after he regrouped with various orc tribes to remind them just who he was, he would begin gaining new followers again. Curiously for an orc, not just with his actions, but with his words. To him, the invasion of Armageddon had been a starting point, a testing of the enemy to find their strengths and their weaknesses, a large-scale intelligence gathering, orc style, leaving millions dead and burning cities in its wake. And in this, they gained much useful information. Now Ghazghkull knew about Imperium strategies. He would regroup, rebuild, and restore his prophetic Waaagh. He would reveal to his fellow orcs, in order to destroy your enemy, you must know him. To the orcs, this is about as profound as it gets, and their spirits would reignite. The second coming of Ghazghkull Thraka was only a matter of time.
Yeah, that was the lore on the orcs. Holy crap, that was like 45. Like I said, that was 50-something minutes, guys. So that's Warhammer orcs. So if someone says to you, "Oh, Skyrim orcs are tougher and stronger than anything in the world," tell them about the 4K orcs. So yeah, that is the... You still want to fight one, Shadow?
Huh?
Do you still want to fight these orcs, Shadow?
No. Why would I?
Just asking. You probably shit your pants if you saw one. Anyway, so yeah, that was... I told you guys that was going to be a long one. I couldn't find a short one. That was not... inappropriate is the word I would say. So pretty much, yeah, Izuku is one of these Gorks. I hope I'm saying that right, but we're just going to call them Orcs because, number one, that's an easier word for me. Then, and also, saying Gorks kind of sounds weird, doesn't it? Gorks. So yeah, we're just going to call them Orcs because, well, reasons actually, because we want to call them Orcs. So in this one, the Empire is around, but however, Izuku was more of a mercenary than anyone else. He didn't really give a shit about the great thing. Like, he just thought to himself, what the fuck is the point fighting an empire that literally has thousands upon millions of soldiers? You know what, fuck it, I'll be a mercenary. I mean, I need weapons, I need armor, what the fuck can I do? Eh? That's what he was thinking in his head. So he left his clan, which was the Blood Axe, I think, if I recall correctly. Yeah, which are mostly commonly mercenary groups. Now, pretty much, he did not join the Great Warboss because he was just thinking in his head, this is just fucking stupid. But here's the reason why. He had both brute strength and intelligence because he actually knew the Elders. Well, actually, no, the Elders created him. And they decided, what would happen if we gave orcs intelligence? That's what they were thinking in their heads. And they thought, that's actually not a bad idea. And they got Izuku. And they're thinking in their heads, wow, well, at least he's actually got a point there. I mean, what's the point of finding a chapter that could easily kick your ass over and over again with God knows how many Marines? I mean, sure, brute force can work, but for how long? So Izuku just left. He was like, nah, fuck that. So he left, and he pretty much got on the ship. Now, the word of orc helping both space marines and the orcs kind of spread like wildfire. Everyone called Izuku Thraka the mercenary. Like, everyone knew who he was, and he was a big-ass orc. He didn't give a shit what the Imperium thought of him. Even that general they mentioned actually hired him. And literally hired him to look for Gak, but he just said, Gak's not on this planet. What? Yeah, Gak's not on this planet. He went to another planet to repopulate. Hey, that was a test. Orcs are not as stupid as it looks, trust me. Because if we were stupider, we would have continued assaulting and assaulting and assaulting to the point where everyone ran out of ammo. Oh. He thought of that, and he actually thought, you're quite smart for an orc. I get that a lot. So you at least you know where Gat is. He went to some planet. Do you know where? No, I don't. I wasn't part of that Great Waaagh thing. That's not my tea. Huh. So I'm a mercenary, like the ogres back then. Oh, okay. Anyway, I'm going for a wank. A what? A wank. It means, it goes a dicky thing, you know, where, oh, that, yeah. This one, they're thinking, wait, orcs have genders? That's what he was thinking. This is when one space marine says, why is there an orc here? I hired him. Why would you hire this thing? Sticks and stones, human, sticks and stones. What's that supposed to mean? Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt. You're just throwing words. What the fuck is that gonna do? Oh. I mean, this one in general says, he's got a point. Like, don't encourage this creature! This one he just gives a general look like, are they always this rude? Indefinitely, especially to creatures that have been killing our brethren for countless years. I only killed one Marine, and that one attacked me first. Whereas I was defending myself. Oh. Right. This is when the leader of the salamander says, actually, he's telling the truth. He was defending himself. And plus, if he wanted to attack us, he would have brought a full gun of orcs. He's obviously not with them. Izuku smiled with a smirk that says, "Aha, you heard that? You can't touch me." But that doesn't mean you can't trust him. But that doesn't mean you can trust him. He's still smirking like, and this one, a space marine walks off. Anyway, do you have a ship I can borrow? Why? So I can get off this planet? So I can look for more work? Yes, I think we have a ship. Wait, you're just gonna let him have one of our ships? Just enough so we can get out of here. Here, see? But before we do, can we ask some questions? If you're asking me, do we have a female orcs? No, we don't. Oh, that is not my question. Then what is? Do you worship your gods? No, I don't worship the gods, no. Seriously? No, I'm one of those orcs that are not a big fan of worshipping. Plus, we don't do the great Waaagh thing. And it's not our cup of tea. Well, I don't anyway. Like, I'm more intelligent than the others. Why would you say that? I am speaking full English is the one I should be obvious. You know, you're right. You are speaking full English. Told you. Which means orcs have the ability to evolve without violence. I won't go that far. What makes you think that? Some orcs will turn into mercenaries for obvious reasons, because they know that some of them will not go well. Ah, gotcha. Well, anywho, before we continue this stupidity, they pretty much answered he pretty much answered their questions, etc., etc. And this is when he's given a ship. Where are you sending the coordinates to? Far away from this Milky Way. Hey. And this is when he just sets up the grate. This is when he puts it up. And this is when he managed to actually create this is when he managed to get off the starts making his ship. Actually, I won't say make. He pretty much started he actually just started turning it on, and this is when the ship just goes vamos. This is when the general said, "Are you sure it was wise not to shoot him down? I got a feeling we're not going to see him again." What makes you say that? Because he's going to be seen as a stupid orc. As a stupid orc for not fighting in their cause. You really think they're going to think that? Orcs care about brute strength alone. And only alone. They don't care about anything else. If they did, we would have fought more of them. So we don't have to really worry about that. At least not any yet. We should prepare. With Izuku, who is now just driving. Okay. Set the coordinates. And take a little nap. Coordinates sent to Earth. Earth 526. What's 526? 526 is a world where people have superpowers, known as quarks. Quarks is a genetic code that belongs into the humans, and they worship a lord known as Jesus Christ. And he explains the religion. I'm not gonna explain no fucking religion of Jesus Christ. I say, if you want that shit, read the fucking Bible. No. If I start talking about Jesus Christ in my fucking domain, and I would probably bring angels here. I even have the bastard's head on a pike. Actually. So, yeah. And this is when Izuku just says, well, how long will it take to get there? Approximately 10,000 years. Approximately 35 months. 35 months. Okay, that's actually not a long time. Yeah. That means I can get into hibernation and I can mind my own business. Alright, warping. Very well, sir. And this is when it starts warping. Now 35 months pass and Izuku is still snoring. And this one he hears a boom. Ah, on my way. What the? Oh, what now? I was dreaming. Man, I was dreaming I having something to eat and reading a book. Look, I wonder how many Warhammer K fans are like, reading a book? That's not an orcish thing to do. Yeah, well, it's a what if. Get over it. Hey, don't be a cunt. And pretty much this is when he gets there and just sees that. A fucking orc motherfucking base. This is when he just thinks, are you serious right now? Oh man, I just woke up. You guys couldn't have waited. You guys could have just been nice. Ugh. And this one he's thinking, oh man, and it's just getting to Earth. I need to stop that ship. Okay, with the the development. This is risky, but it might work. And this is when he just starts doing it. He starts actually charging the ship up. Fusion core power level up to 10,000%. Need to be a little bit more, since it's a fucking ship. Yeah, but I'm the only damn crew in it. I wasn't expecting a crew. I wasn't surprised I didn't create a crew. And this is when pretty much he starts it up and says, fully charged in 5, 4, or system overloading. Good. Activate the escape pods to Earth. Activating Earth. Escape pod to Earth. Leaves in 5 seconds. Shit! And this one Izuku says, halts it. The one time I'm small, big. And this one he managed to get into a ship. Good thing I'm as tall as a space marine. Well, Space Hulk, actually. And this is when he drops the pod off. And this is when the ship fully charges, gets to the orcs, and the orcs just start raiding the place. It's empty! 5. Fusion overload. Oh no. Oh. And that's when it explodes, and it just causes the freaking thingy to go through further. This is when Izuku's like, oh, I think I'm gonna puke. Oh. Ah. And this when he managed to land straight down on Earth. And immediately, he just lands on some poor bastard's backyard. This one, the owner's like, what the hell? He immediately gets out. How do Space Marines do that? Although I can't talk, orcs are reckless too. This one hears, hey, who's out there? Oh shit, I come in peace. What the hell? This one the guy just sees this big, bulky, fucking Izuku. Yo. This one the guy just faints. Jeez. Am I really that scary looking? Well, I am a orc. This one the guy just brings him in. I mean, this one Izuku just gets into their house. How do you... Oh! Does it slide? Oh, it's, I'm gonna have to ask this human what it is. And pretty much, this is when he realized the system is damaged. Great. Well, I can't let people get this stuff. Besides, I don't think the world of And that's when he just sees the house. And he just sees what Japan looks like. This place is an absolute dump. There's no way they can survive against an orc horde. Even if it was just a regular, everyday, a Tuesday walk arc, they would not stand a chance. Shit, if the Chaos Marines found this place, it'd be hell. Oh, this place would not stand a chance against Chaos. This is when Izuku starts walking. Okay. This is when Izuku walks him in the house. Now, this is when the person realizes he's on a bed, but this is when he sees Izuku just trying to figure out what the fuck is this thing. This is when he says, hey. Huh? Oh, hey, kiddo, you're awake. What is this thing? That's a microwave. Microwave? Do you not know what it is? No, I've never been on this planet. Wait, are you an alien? Oh, what? Alien? What the fuck's an alien? This is when he brings out, like, pictures of UFOs and all that. That's a new one. No, I'm an orc. Orc as in fantasy orcs? Define on what type of orc you're talking about. This one he brings out a picture of an orc in D&D. He's looking at him to look like, huh? That's not an orc. It's not. No. Oh, if that's an orc, that's a good looking one. So wait, orcs. Wow, this is cool. Yeah, I'm with what? I mean, this is awesome. Wow. The size of you. I mean, yeah, I know I'm chubby. No! Chubby my ass! I wonder... This one he starts looking. Hey, eyes up here. Hey, sorry. It's just that you're huge everywhere. There. I know I'm big, but you don't need to stare. And people call orcs fucked up in the head. Okay, so, kid, can you tell me the basic history of this place? Like, what I should know? Oh, who will attempt to murder? Oh, sure. What do you wish to know? Everything? Okay. All human history? Yes. All human history. I'm gonna have to go to the library. Ooh, a library. That's neat. And this one, fuck. This one he says, by the way, what's your name? Oh, I'm Monoma. Monoma. Yep, my name is Monoma. I'm a student of UA. UA? Yeah, it's a hero school. Wow. Oh, hey? Oh yeah, you're from space. Yeah, I'm from space. Ace. He explains the hero society. So you're technically paid mercenaries, but you guys prefer to call. Why not just call it a mercenary school instead of a that? He shrugs. I have no idea. How much are you getting paid? About 35 euro. What? Oh yeah, and I forgot to. I meant say yens. What's a yen? Oh, it's our language for money. What type of courtesy do you have on Earth? He points at his teeth. Wait, what? Yeah, that's orc courtesy. Teeth. Seriously? Yep. So, here's the best way of saying it. This is when he yanks a tooth out. Oh! Wait. And that's when it grows back. What the? Oh, so your teeth are like sharks. Our teeth. What's a shark? Oh dear, we have a lot to do. Luckily, I don't have to go to UA until next year, so we have time. I'm to show you a lot. I'm gonna need a bigger bed. Hey, my parents are gonna be questioning your. Wait, how old are you? I'm 14. How old are you? In human years or in orc years? Orc years. Oh, nothing that big. I'm probably the youngest. I'm like 70,000 years old. 70,000? Yeah, that's teenagers compared to orcs. Teenagers? Yep. What's a fucking elder? If you see an elder, you run. Because those guys, no. Oh. So, wow. We'll just say you're, like, around my age. I'll just tell you that you're, spit it out. I'll just say you're my boyfriend or something. A what? Mate. A mate. Whoa. What do you mean you think that'll work? You do realize people can get married at the age of 13, right? Huh? Yeah. You human customs are weird. Well, so are yours. No comment. Truthfully, everyone thinks that's weird. Alright. So how do we do this? How do we explain to your parents I'm your... What was the word again? Boyfriend. Yeah, how do we explain them that? I'll just tell them that we were sentimental marriage, and you were... I'll just say you're my boyfriend, and I've been secretly dating you for a while because they wanted me to find the perfect spouse. House to carry their seed. Wait, you're a boy, though! Oh. Well, here's the thing. I have a quirk that allows me to copy other people's quirks. Meaning I can even copy people who can have kids. I have my father's quirk. So you can give birth to kids? No! Oh, well, yes, it depends on if I can find a suitor. Or you get what I mean? Okay. Concerned, but I'm not gonna say shit. Yeah. Well, nice to meet you, Monoma. This one he says his orcish name. How about we give you a better name than that? I'm okay with that, because truth be told, even I had difficulty translating it. Good, because I did not understand a damn word you said. Let's go through the book. Let's see, they go through the book. Skippy? Wow. No! Oh, ooh, not that one. Why, what does that one say? It means pig face. Well, you can say I'm a pigling in my own ways. Oh my god, that was horrible. What can you say? I'm a bona fide orc. How about Izuku? Izuku. What does Izuku mean in your translation? Oh, it means War Chief Eater. Is that a bad thing? No, but it's also the most disgraceful title that anyone can get. So me being the actual name of it... Fuck!
Sorry. I had just gotten done making ramen.
Give me a heart attack, why don't you? Anyway...
I'll be in first so you can continue.
You're fine. But, you want to catch up on what I was saying? You want me to... So...
Yes, I would, please.
Okay, here's the best way of saying it. Izuku went through the world. He pretty much went to the Space Marines to get a ship. However, they didn't like the idea of actually giving it to him, so he gave information. In return, he gets a ship. He traveled to the world of Quarks, aka Earth, which took 35 months. And this is when he landed, but orcs started attacking his ship. He had to get through the escape pod. He destroyed the ship by overloading its reactor core, and he managed to land on Monoma's lawn, who then took Monoma in, and he's now trying to learn the whole thing. Oh, and Monoma found out he is 70,000 years old.
Who is Monoma again? Oh, he's the copy quirk guy.
Yeah, the copy quirk guy. You completely forgot about him. Yeah, so...
It's a stupid question. Don't answer it.
Yeah, you just forgot. And Monoma went full... And note, this one, Monoma is a D&D nerd. So he showed him the fantasy orcs, and he said, that's not an orc. Orc. Good guess, though, but that ain't me. Either that's a human hybrid, because no orc looks like that. Really? Yeah, no, none, nada. Anyway, let's continue. And also, Monoma had to find a good-ass reason on why Izuku was living with them. So, Izuku became his mate. So technically this is the beginning of an awkward date. So pretty much now we go back to that because, like I said, Shadow needed to refresh our memory, like, what were we doing again?
Okay, you basically just explained it all, just fine, keep going.
So yeah, pretty much after that, Izuku just... This is when Monoma started teaching her, not her, him, teached Izuku history of humans. And he found it quite fascinating, even for orc standards. Earths. But he also find it kind of horrifying if they found out about mongrel tactics or Roman tactics. Izuku would obviously think that this would be a terrible idea to give it to either A, the Empire, or B, to the Orcs. Because imagine the fucking bloodshed and conquering of the damn things. This one Monoma says, by the way, what are we going to do about your... What is that anyway? That's an escape pod. Is there a way to get rid of it? I got an idea. But it might track people. How far... So, what about your place? What do you know about your world? Oh boy. He explains the Empire place and who they worship, all that. Even the Orcs. Wow. How come you guys don't live in peace? Orcs are made for war, and the humans on that planet are racist. They're racist, but they're surprisingly not sexist. Wait, you know what sexist is? Yeah. Okay, what's your word for male x male? No. Aaron, Thruk. What's in your word? Gay. Izuku gives him the look like, hey? Why, what does gay mean in your world? Baby penis. Okay, what does lesbian mean in your world? Oh, tiny boobs. Well, here, gay means, boy x boy. Wait, do you have a gender? You obviously see my pants! Well, yeah, true. Oh. Anyway, hey, so what time will your parents be here? About January 31st? What month? What? It's think the seasons. They'll be back at, hey, Shadow, is January still winter or is it spring?
January is indeed winter.
Alright, so I'm going to say...
January is the mark of a new year.
Alright. Thanks, because it's been a while since I had to say that. So they'll be back spring. It's summer now. So they'll be back at winter. It's summer now. Also, I don't join at UA until later on. Okay. So here's a big question. Where am I supposed to sleep? Okay, because I obviously know you're not going to let me leave. Oh, no. You destroyed my lawn. You owe me. Fair point. I owe you. Yeah. Also, I'm taking a guess slaves are legal where you're from. Yeah, they're very legal. Well, it's actually uncommon for slaves, for a place not to have slaves. Wow. I thought this world's Earth was dicks. Your Hitler may sound big and bad, but unless he met frickin' Horus, that's fucking nobody compared to what he did. Trust me. He is nobody. Good to know. So anyway, a year passed, and Izuku and Monoma became a thing. Like I said, I'm gonna make this quick and quick. Plus, this has been an hour, so I kind of need to do this. Besides, it's been a while since I've actually done a Monoma ship, and they became a thing. But this is when they start kissing. And by the way, Izuku has been doing mercenary contracts because he needs to pay his side of the deal. So Izuku's about the height of... He's actually taller now. He's like... Hold on. Let's see... Or... How big can a orc get? I hope I'm spelling that right. It's been a while. Okay. About 19 foot tall. Wait, 19? Say, Shadow, you want to give a 19-year... 19-foot orc rush handshake?
I don't think I would. I think my head would be instantly broken.
Oh, come on. They don't bite.
Liar.
Okay, yeah, you know I'm bullshit.
I gotta eat my food.
Yeah, Shadow knows I am bullshitting. Would have been funny though. I can already imagine Shadow like, go on, Shadow, give him a hug. He looks like a huggable man. Okay, I'll shut up. Oh, that would have been hilarious, though. So, yeah, after that incident, actually, it looks like an orc can actually get taller than a space marine, so I'm going to say Izuku's around the height of super mutant behemoth. And he doesn't have that technology stuff either. So, yeah, he's a... Actually, I might make him like half the height of a super mutant behemoth because I don't want him too big. Because a normal orc is fucking tall. Oh, we all know that. Anyway, after Izuku got out, oh, and he got back with his stuff. Mind you, Izuku's now known among the heroes. And some don't think he's just an ugly motherfucker, which Monoma finds rude as hell because sticks and stones. Stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt. And Izuku? Well, he doesn't give a shit. And he's thinking, yeah, well, I can still kick your ass better. And yet here you are, acting like a little bitch. Anyway, this is when we pretty much hear from Monoma saying, sorry, but I already have a boyfriend. Oh, really? Where is he? He's right there. He's been doing mercenary contracts all year. I mean, all day. Hey, this is when they see Izuku. Yo. This is when Monoma's dad... This is when they hear, oh, babe, this is my mom and dad. Yo, what's up? This is when Monoma's father says, wow. I know, say it. You are one big motherfucker. I get that a lot. And I'm still growing. Seriously? Yeah, he's 17. Okay, question, why choose the life of a mercenary? Do I look like I can scream? Oh, hey, can I be a hero? Okay, fair point. Okay, fair. I can't even be mad at that. Fair point. Now, are we just gonna sit here or right? Actually, no. I'm gonna be a big dick. I'm gonna say he is the height of the super mutant behemoth, but I'm gonna keep the super mutant behemoth. This is when I just say, alrighty. Hey. Well, now, this is when Izuku says, well, now I've seen everything. I guess. So, what happened to your parents? Well, what? He doesn't have any parents. His family was orphans. Oh, well, I'm sorry to hear that. Izuku gives him a look like, what's an orphan? But this one he gives him a look like, I'll explain later. Okay, babe? So, how long have you two been actually dating? For the past couple of years. Whereas we've been dating ever since you've gone missing. Okay. So, anyway, I'm glad to know that you two are, well, a thing, but, try your best. Well, actually, no, I think we have to get a bigger house. What makes you think that? What do you... Yeah. We're definitely gonna have to get a bigger house. Where can we get a bigger house, actually, now that I think about it? So anyway, this is when they start explaining the houses, start getting houses ready. Because, like I said, Izuku's a humongous dude. Alright, dang. That's when they managed to get the house ready. Wow, you really... Well, anyway. Here. Okay. Well, I guess I've seen everything. Once they get in there, literally, and pretty much they've seen, the destroyed bed. Okay, be honest. Who broke it? Izuku raised his hand. Wasn't it an accident? An accident was yeah, it was kind of an accident. You two banged to the point it broke by accident, didn't you? I'll take that as a yes. You're lucky that this shit is actually pretty easy to repair. It is? Yeah, you'd be surprised. Like, this shit is easily repairable. Well, okay. This is when this is when Monoma's dad just says, by the way, you chose a keeper. You're not gonna get judged by his looks. You kidding me? I don't want to get killed by that guy. I mean, look at the fucking size of him. Okay, that's cool. Plus, who's dumb enough to fight that guy? Look at the size of him. Damn, he could easily tear down a house. If he wanted to. Yeah, that's about right. Anyway, with Izuku, this is when pretty much Mono says, oh shit, I gotta get to school. Bye, babe. See ya. This is when pretty much Izuku and Monoma's family have an awkward silence. So, you're a mercenary? Yep. Do you have what type type of mercenary jobs do you do? Mostly catching criminals, catching corrupt heroes, the usual. Well, and yet you're 17. Yep. That's actually impressive. Do you not know who your family are? No, I never really cared about my family. They pretty much left me at an orphanage. But I didn't really mind because I left the orphanage at the age of 10? Hmm? 10? Yeah, 10. Huh. That must have been hard on you. No, not really. If people don't have... Besides, everyone was afraid of me. Me with all types of reasons. Well, you look like a nice guy. You're the first to say that. So, thanks. Thanks. Anyway, this is when Izuku gets up. I gotta go. Take a contract. Alright. This is when Izuku's taking contracts and pretty much managed to get them too. After having contracts, taking them right now. Alright, well, at least we're doing something. After pretty much taking a couple of contracts, this is when he... This one he just says, okay. After pretty much Izuku becoming the new... This is when they get back. This is when he immediately hears something about USJ. This is when Izuku got back, but this is when he sees... Oh, I forgot his lunch! Ah, shit. What's wrong? Monoma forgot his lunch. Thanks. Thanks. Let's see. This one says, oh, where's the USJ thing? Which one? The one he shows on the field trip flag. Oh, it's, that way. Thanks. Do you need a ride there? No, I'm good. But thanks for the offer, though. And that's when he starts walking off. Once he gets there, and he immediately sees the fucker. This one he immediately just sees the freaking villains and the big ass Nomu. This one Izuku just says, This one Izuku says, yo. Alright, man. That's when he says, oh, hey, sweetie. Everyone looks behind him to see the orc. who the fuck is that? This is when Monoma says, that's my... Yeah, boyfriend. That's my boyfriend. Bakugo says, wait, whoa. Yes, Monoma is in Class 1A for obvious reasons. This is when he says, that's your boyfriend? Yep. He's fucking huge! Yep, he is. Dude, he makes All Might look small! Okay. This is when Izuku says, what is that thing? This is when Shigaraki says, we should say the same to you, you ugly bastard. Well, no, dude, how am I ugly? You need more lotion than a fucking masseuse. If you make a man in Africa look like a frickin' blog of bleach, ain't you crusty ass motherfucker? I bet your dick's also crustier than Krusty Krab's Krabby Patties. Ah! I bet your $5 Shadow's laughing her ass off listening to that one.
You have no idea.
Called it!
Oh my god.
Listen here, you crusty ass motherfucker. What is that thing? Why does it look like a bird? Why is it big? And why does it look stupid? This one, the Nomo looks at him. Yeah, I called you stupid. What you gonna do about it? This little creature shrieks, and Izuku just says, rude. You're the one to talk. This one he says, babe, what are you doing here? You forgot your lunch. Oh, I did? Monoma checks his backpack. Oh shit, I did. Oh, I accidentally took your lunch. This one the Nomo tries to punch Izuku, but Izuku just takes it like a man, and the arm broke. Izuku just looks at the Nomo like, the fuck? This is when Izuku just bitch slaps it, and its head came off. This is when he says, you cheater! How am I a cheater? I didn't do shit! I'm just here to deliver my boyfriend's lunch. This is when he just delivers the munch. But this is when the villain this is when the Shigaraki says, everyone attack that big green thing! Izuku looks at them. The villains go, nope! Oh, they all surrender to the heroes! Because they know who Izuku is, they ain't stupid! You know, this is when Izuku says, what just happened? Kurogiri, open the portal! Sir, what about the villains? Look at the villains! They're acting like chickens because of a giant green boy! Ow. Ow, you have no idea, rookie. See, this one, Monoma, I was thinking, yeah, you don't even know close to his kind. If you knew who he really was, I think you all would have shit his pants. If you knew his true origins, I think you all would have shit their pantses. This is when pretty much things get a little south. This is when Bakugo says, so, you're his boyfriend. And you are... Oh, this is Bakugo. Oh, nice to meet you, Bakugo. This is when Bakugo extends his hand. Are you sure you want me to shake that hand? How about a fist bump? Yeah, that sounds like a smart idea. They fist bump. Oh, dude, your boyfriend is buff as hell. How do you get so buff? Working out. Oh, this one Izuku's thinking. Actually, I was born with this. I was actually born with muscles, but I was also born with a brain. Luckily, this is when he says, "So, how did you two meet?" Oh, we met at a. We met when I was going through some bad time. Oh, when you found out that your ex. Yes, when I found out my ex was cheating on me. Who was your ex? Her fuck the bitch name is Tetsu. Oh, she's in Class 1B now because, well, mostly for reasons. I see. This is when you just hear, so who's that one? That's Aizawa, my teacher. You look fucked up. You look like you just got through a masturbation a little bit too hard, or while someone was sucking your thumb. I look? I look like I beat my ass whooped. That too. Oh, by an aggressive sexer. By aggressive fucking. This one, like Zoa says, I'm more concerned on how the fuck Monoma walks. Oh, that thing must be the size of his arm. Actually, it's the size of my freaking body. Actually, it's the size of my leg. Hey, Zoa looks at him. How are you walking? Painkillers and determination. That is some hell of a determination. And hey, he knows how to be gentle, but he knows when I'm in the real dangerous mood. Oh yeah, he will tease. He will be a dick. So, yeah, who the fuck was that, and why did they try to kill you? I do not know, babe. Babe, who were they? Those were the League of Villains. I mean, those were the LOV. Oh, you mean the guys who invented What is Love? No, not that. Like, League of Villains. Arrow? That is the dumbest name I ever heard in my life. And I heard I heard dumber. Rise! The great penis has shown us the way! What? The fuck? Oh, and this, mind you, this is a made-up orc clan I made up. Izuku's just thinking, I heard dumber names. Names Luna Wolf is coming into mind. So, what now? Well, you wanna... Well, we were talking about going on a date. You just want to start it now? Sure, why not? Where you want to go? Well, mostly, I think the date should start here, because I think Aizawa's not going to let us leave, aren't you? No! I am not going to let you leave, especially now! I'm working because now you got my full curiosity. Because, number one, how are you... Seriously! Are you asking... Why is it important to know on how he's walking? I'm more curious on how the fuck were you not recruited to UA? Hey, I didn't want to be a hero? A big guy? Wait, what do you do? I'm a mercenary. You're a mercenary, yep. So you're for hire. Right now, yes. I'm going to try to convince Nezu to hire you. What the fuck for? Look at you! Look at that no move! You bitch slapped that thing in the head when flying! I'm big. Of course it's gonna go flying. You probably would put All Might running for his money. Who's All Might? How the fuck do you not know All Might? He doesn't pay attention to hero politics. Oh. Okay, then what does he... This is when Izuku says, what's going on? They're gonna try to recruit you. Recruit me into what? This is when they just hear, I am he, yay! Who the fuck is that ugly fucker? Sticks and stones, jackass. You're not pretty any either. You're not any prettier. I bet you even make a Nomu look fuckable. Hell, you even make Shigaraki's crusty motherfucking ass that's crustier than Joker's lip gloss look fuckable. All Might says, I don't like you. Well, I don't like you either, but I have the manners to keep my mouth shut. Yes, I got that from Red Dead Redemption 2. Oh. And Shadow, how bad are you laughing?
You have no idea.
Just me. You're trying your best to breathe right now, aren't you?
Shut up.
This is when All Might says, okay, listen here, pigskin. Oh, I didn't know you talked to your mother in such language. Do you kiss your mother with that now? Such barbarous, hey? How am I the barbarian? Look at you! You look like a villain! So do you, and especially, yeah, villain of fashion. What the fuck are you wearing? Speedos? What is that? Is that supposed to tell you how small your dick is? Is that your pajamas? Like, what are you wearing? Pajamas? This Aizawa just tries his best not to laugh, and I can already tell Shadow is meeting herself so she doesn't distract me from her laughing her ass off. Oh, so that's why you don't hear her. Alright, this one and Nezu walks in, and he just says, "Oh, you must be Izuku." "Yes, I'm Izuku." "What do you want?" By the way, Nezu went with them. Are you for hire?" "Well, yeah, but after his rude ass, it's gonna cost you." "How much?" "Oh, not much, $1 million. "Okay." "Wait, what?" This is when Monoma says, "Babe, remember, $1 million is chump change. And plus, it's yens, not dollars." You get what I mean? Yeah, that's true. "So, you're okay with him joining?" "Yes, on one condition." "Let me guess, no killing villains?" "What?" "Oh, no. I'm not gonna stop you doing that." Okay. "No killing bastards." He points at All Might. "Hey! I can't promise that." "I'll try, but I can't promise anything, because if he continues talking shit, I'm gonna take that tongue and pretty much take a shit on it." This one Aizawa just says, "That'd be one big ass shit." This one Aizawa thinks, "Wait a minute, has he ever cracked the toilet?" No. "Oh, he actually is a light ass eater. He doesn't eat that much. But we do have a big bathroom though. I bet your tub. About same size I can fit both of us in. And he's everything, actually. He's my pillow, he's my bed. He's everything. This one, Monoma just kisses him on the cheek, and Bakugo just says, "You definitely know how to keep your man, don't you?" "Yep, I do." "Wait, so question, who's top?" But Monoma just gives the student who asked that. He said, "Okay, who asked that?" This one, Dinky said, "I did." "What the fuck? Do I look like a top? Do you know how big that thing is? It's the size of my leg." It was just a question. It was a dumbass question. And which was, even a Shadow would have to agree, that was a dumbass question, wasn't it?
Yes.
Do you want me to pause for a minute so you can fucking catch your breath?
No, I'm fine.
This is when Izuku just says, "Okay, this one Monoma says, by the way, I'm taking the guess we're gonna have dorms after this." "Yes, you two are gonna have dorms. Though I got a feeling we're gonna have to make an extra roof for Izuku." "Well, you might as well get rid of my bed because I sleep on him all the time." "What about him? Where's he gonna sleep?" "Ow. Oh, I'm fine sleeping on the ground. I ain't picky. Unlike you people." "Okay, what do you mean by people?" "People with bad taste in fashion. And you have one hero right there who's looking like a stripper. One that's showing her big ass booty and trying to say, 'Oh, why don't you fuck me?' And another person wearing Speedos? Who are you?" "Endeavor, the number 2 hero." "The slutty one or the general one? Because I can't..." "Oh, you're the slutty general." This is when All Might's thinking, "Bird. And you are his femboy." "Femboy?" "Well, yeah, you're obviously a bottom." "How am I a bottom?" "Well, number 1, your dick is the size of a pickle." "Oh, it is not." Izuku raised an eyebrow. "All Might, it's the size of a pickle." "Oh, shut up." "So, who's gonna be my teacher? Who's gonna be, who's gonna be, what class?" "Oh, right. You're gonna be in class 1A. Aizawa will make sure you stay out of trouble." Wait, what the fuck?" Aizawa said. "How am I supposed to keep him out of trouble? Look at him! Look at the size of him!" "Oh. Try your best? I don't know." "Oh, Izuku, you try your best to stay out of trouble?" "Yes." This one they hear Izuku's stomach rumbling. "Well, I'm hungry. I'm gonna eat my lunch." Yeah, I'm hungry too. This is when Izuku pulls out rice and potatoes? Actually, no, he pulls out rice and I'm gonna say some eggs, a steak, all that, which sounds delicious. I bet I'm making Shadow's mouth water just by thinking about that. Am I right?
Probably have no idea.
Yeah, well, at least you catch your breath. This one, Monoma brings out a tuna fish sandwich. This one, Izuku says, this is when Dinky says, wait, hey, you said he's the light eater, right? Yeah. Huh? Is this gonna lead to a stupid question? Probably. How does he keep him, how is that filling up that big guy? He's huge. You'd be surprised. Nice, seriously, he's, like I said, a very, very light eater. So he's not that expensive. Actually, he's quite the opposite. He's very cheap. Not trying to sound rude, but that's kind of a BS considering how big he is. Yeah, we get that a lot. But anyway, after they got done eating their lunch, Izuku sits down. This is when pretty much they get to UA, they see the dorms, and this is when he immediately says, okay, what now? Well, we start getting comfy. Comfy. Yep. Okay. I'll tell him that you'll be here for a while. Okie dokie. And after that incident, this is when pretty much they just get done because, wow. This is when everyone starts introducing themselves to Izuku. Alright, nice to meet you all, nice to meet you all. Huh. This should be interesting. So anyway, after that incident and they start walking away. This is when pretty much, this is when Monoma says, hey, yeah, you look like you can use some sleep, but I'm not even, oh, come on. This is when Ida says, the place is not soundproof, don't care. This is when Nita's saying, seriously? Seriously? He really does not care? This is when Monoma said, this is when Bakugo says, Ida? Are you really gonna tell him that he cannot bang that guy? Well, no. Oh, but seriously, what? What can they do? Like, seriously, what? Then is when they hear them banging. This is when they just hear it, and this is when Nezu is sitting with a cup of tea. Next thing you know, he feels the ground shaking. What the fuck, an earthquake? The place is legit shaking, and next thing you know, after an hour of finding out what is going on, it stops after literally 5 hours. This is when Nezu says, okay, what caused the earthquake? This is when he sees Class 1A's room was a bigger mess. What the fuck happened? And Monoma and his boyfriend. And that's what happened. You're joking, right? They shake their head. And we're not joking. How? Oh, Nezu, have you seen the size of the guy? Like, he ain't tiny. This is when Izuku walks out while only wearing his shirt or getting a glass of water. This is when all Class 1A students, including the heroes, go to him. What? What the fuck was that? What was what? Dude, you just pounded him to the next goddamn dimension. And, okay, so, how is... This is when they see Monoma just wearing a shirt, wearing a big-ass shirt, and just walking to get some... And it says, would you mind making some tea? Oh, sure. This is when they say, how are you walking? Okay, what are you talking about? Oh, we just got done with round 1. That was round 1? Yeah. What's round 2? Oh, we do round 2, the rest of the rounds in the forest. Because as soon as we got done, we just realized the place was shaking. Seriously? You just found out? Oh, yeah, how much damage do you do? Check the room! Check the living room! And then you look at the living room, and it is a fucking goddamn mess. It's not even funny. This is when Izuku says, wow, it's actually not as bad as I thought it would be. I thought it'd be more messy. More mess? Okay. Hey, okay, settle down, Dylan. Calm. But this is when he hears, settle down, woosah. Woosa. Try not to take a shit. Hey, Izuku, you're not helping. I'm not trying to help. Well, if you're not trying to help, then don't say a word. M-A-R-I-N. Alright? So, Izuku. Yeah. Just. Anyway, I got a contract for you when you get done with banging your boyfriend. We're not going to start doing that until another hour. So, what is your question? What is your what? There is a rogue, there is a villain I can ask you to take care of if you'll allow it. Who's the guy? Have you heard of a guy named All For One? Is he the one, the leader of the guys that list that has the "What is love? Baby, don't hurt me, don't hurt me right now." Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, I know him. Killed some of his thugs. Some of his thugs a couple of times. So yeah, I know him. Well, I want to hire you to take out a guy named Overall and All for One. I can do that. Seriously? Seriously, I can do that. Do you have any idea where his base is? This one All Might says, "You can't be serious letting this big blundering oaf do it. You might be bribed." Like, "All Might, shouldn't you be with your mommy and daddy?" "Don't know, shouldn't you?" "Who be?" Duh! Oh, that's one way to piss someone off. Now, where to now? Huh, they even made a Rambo version of an orc. That's scary. Actually, now I just think about it. Hey, Google. How many stab wounds does it take to kill a human? Huh. About 10 stabs. Hey, Shadow. Well, she's not there.
What's up?
You want to see how a orc dagger can stab someone?
I can't see it, but...
I meant in a what if. Come here. You see me holding a giant orc dagger.
No.
Anyway, I'm joking. Anyway, we're about to get to the close anyway. How long has this what have been going on? 2 hours and 11 minutes. God damn. So pretty much this is when Izuku finds this is when he just talks shit and pretty much he gets there. This is when he gets to All for One's base. Well, this place was easy to find. This is when he just knocks on the door. Password. Or not don't got a password, but I got a pun for you. Okay, knock knock. Okay. Hey, knock knock. Who's there? Ghazghkull. What? Exactly. Open the door. This one Izuku just kicks the door open. Then it says, "Hello." This one the Shigaraki says, "You! Muscular, kill him!" Muscular's looking at Izuku. "Police station that way. Thank you." "Seriously? Villains, attack!" All the villains are like, "Nope." Even Toga's like, "Bruh, I'm not that stupid." "But you take him out. You fight him then." "Fine, I'll fight him myself." Shigaraki attacks Izuku. Izuku punches him so hard, half of his body comes off the bottom part. Okay. This is when All for One just sees Shigaraki's body just coming to him. This is just you, me, Izuku, you impulsive, mutant freak. Your brute force can do nothing to stop my plans. Wait. This is what he realized. Are you stuck? No, that would be ridiculous. Oh, so you don't mind if I start playing with these? This one he starts playing with the fucking buttons that was right next to him. Wait, what are you doing? No, don't touch that! I don't know about you. So, and this one he just starts, this one Izuku decides to act like a dumb orc and just start pressing buttons and buttons. And it gets ridiculous. Because it actually gets pretty gruesome because the guy is just short-circuiting, blowing up, having God knows pieces flying around, and next thing you know, you just hear initiated self-destruct in T-minus 10 seconds. Uh-oh. I'm gonna need proof. This one Izuku just takes the helmet. This one all for one says, "End me." No thanks. I don't have any ammo. Oh, get back here! This one Izuku just leaves. Whoop, 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 whoop. And he managed to get out of that place before it just exploded. Dead. Phew! That was close. Alrighty. Well, that was fun. Now I need to find overall. This one he just sees overall. Well, and this girl named Eerie just says, it just points. This one here, this one overall says, I like to turn myself in because I do not want to end up as chopped liver. Wise decision. Overall, wise decision indeed. And that's about it. Izuku lived his life. He married Monoma. They decided to adopt Eri because, well, Eri actually felt safe around Izuku, even though he's an orc. And yeah, Izuku lives a happy life with Monoma. Monoma decided to leave UA because he was more of a house husband, and what Izuku gets paid for, or helping both the heroes, Rose Society, it's pretty damn good. So yeah, that's about it. This has been the one shot of what if Deku was an orc space marine Warhammer 40k version. Like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. This has been Dunkel Dylan here, God of Chaos, and Shadow, who's probably still laughing her butt off at all the shit I just said. Yep, see ya. Yep. So bye.